Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ellis and today I'm back with a preview for Manchester City versus Everton. It's that classic Boxing Day fixture. Does anyone like it? I don't know. Some people love it, some people hate it. We'll have a little debate about that, but let's talk about the game first. So, Everton versus Man City. Has this ever looked weirder in the prospect of a game? Ever. I can't really believe what I'm saying here, but seems like Everton are doing better than City, really, at the moment. No one could argue with that, could they? And Man City are just a shell of themselves at the moment. It's been the shock of the season so far for everyone in the Premier League, and they've just not seen themselves, have they, at all? Pep Guardiola seems to have completely lost his head. He's not himself at all. His team aren't themselves. They're absolutely drained of confidence. So, who better to play than Everton? Christmas present for Manchester City. There you go. I think most Evertonians would agree with me here and say that while everyone outside of Everton would say, yeah, this is the game where Everton go and get a massive win away to a big six side, I'm not confident. I could actually argue that maybe I'm less confident than I would be if City were winning, because I just know that we're just presenting this for them, aren't we? Pep's been counting down, waiting to see when we were playing Everton, and then we're going to give them 3 points, aren't we? But no, we're going to be positive because it's Christmas. We're going to make sure that Everton get a result in this game. Looking at us, it's not much different in terms of the squad from the last game because it wasn't that long ago. Sean Dyche did his press conference at a bit of a later time, and he said that Dwight McNeil might maybe be involved. So I guess we'll talk about whether he will be, and I think it's up for debate whether you put him in. Dwight McNeil, when in that number 10, has had good returns in terms of goals and assists, but I feel like he just upsets the balance, really. I think Doucouré in there just gives us that bit more solidity, and it just means that we're a bit more compact as a side. And yes, he's not that great technically, but I think it's probably just worth having him in there, especially in these big games against the top sides. And I thought Doucouré actually, in the previous game, he actually looked quite good on the ball against Chelsea. He was taking on a few dribbles and he's been a bit bolder than he normally is, so I'll keep Doucouré in the side for that reason. One change that's definitely going to have to happen is Ashley Young. He's ricked his neck, according to Sean Dyche, and he's also suspended for this game, so that's an enforced change. I think we'll probably see Coleman come in. Whether he can play a full game, I don't know, but it seems like it's definitely going to be Coleman ahead of Patterson, because we know Sean Dyche probably doesn't even seem to speak to Nathan Patterson. He doesn't get a look in, does he? God knows what's happening there, but Nathan Patterson is not going to be playing this game, is he? So I think it'd be Seamus, and I think it'd be nice to see Seamus play, hopefully, a full game, because we don't know how many we've got left of seeing Seamus at Everton, so hopefully he can put in a big shift in this one. And the other debate, really, is the striker debate. Armando Broja was unavailable for the Chelsea game because of, obviously, it's his parent club, but now he's back available for selection, and I think he's up there with a chance of starting. You look at Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the moment, and he's not jumping for headers, he's not being aggressive, he's not scoring goals, ultimately. So I think Broja could get in this side here. He's had 2 decent cameos so far, one very, very decent cameo against Wolves, and then one against Arsenal where he put a bit of a shift in, but obviously didn't get much of the ball, like you don't really do against Arsenal, do you? So I'd be starting Armando Broja here. I want to know what you think about that, though, because that's a risk. Obviously, it's a risk. He's not played that much in this setup, and players might not know exactly how he works. But you'd think these are Premier League professional footballers. They should be able to see a player slot in and adjust to his needs. You'd hope so, wouldn't you? And Broja's got pace, he's got power, he wants to be in the side as well, he wants to play at the moment, which is something that our current number 9 doesn't seem to really want to do. So to have someone who wants to be in the side is a bonus, really. So Armando Broja to start for me, I think that's be a nice thing for us to see. All those Evertonians, they're going to be getting up on Boxing Day morning, travelling to the Etihad. I know it's not that far, but it's Boxing Day morning. You want to see something exciting, don't you? And I think that could be Armando Broja. In terms of City, though, what is going on? What is going on, Pep? I really don't know what's happening there. They're just awful, aren't they? So, you know what's going on. 9 defeats in the last 12. It's the worst run any of us have ever seen of this City side, isn't it? It's just horrific from them. Haaland doesn't seem himself. He's just... Kyle Walker is making a mistake every single game, and you could I could always say, you could safely say but it is City. But I think you could probably safely say that they aren't in the title race anymore. That might bite me on the backside because we know what City do, but I think it's getting to a point where there's just no way back. And they seem to blame injuries quite a lot, which I do find a bit baffling because you look at the side that they put out teams that are more than capable of winning these games. Just because you don't have your biggest players doesn't mean that, these big sides, they all do it, don't they? Arsenal, like, Arteta was saying that Arsenal had the thinnest squad of all at the start of this season. It's like, do they know who Everton are? It's weird, isn't it? But City are obviously going to put out a side that is on paper better than Everton. So in theory, they should beat us. Doesn't matter what form they're on. And they've still got the likes of Phil Foden, who scored in the last game. They've got Kevin De Bruyne, who was on the bench. So maybe they're saving him for this game against us. So they're going to bring a lot, aren't they? And they're going to have a lot of the ball. We know that. But I don't think we should just give away every last inch of the ball to them because they're not that good at the moment. We need to just... I feel like we've got to go at them a little bit here. It's not the same as the Chelsea and Arsenal game where you've got teams who are so solid in... Well, Arsenal is so solid in defence, Chelsea on top form, where you've really got to make sure every last moment you're in perfect position. I feel like we could maybe test the balance out a little bit more in this game. Make sure you sit really tight and compact, but I think we have to try and test that leaky defence a few times. If we can just push every so often and maybe just send one man extra forward when you break, because that's if we breach that defence, if we get ahead, like, we could go and win this game. We actually could. I believe maybe we can. And we know that if we concede a goal, it's over. And the way City play, like, they could just knock one in from anywhere. We've seen Foden score screamers against us before. Kevin De Bruyne does it too. So we can't really afford to bank on the third game in a row against the top side without conceding a goal. So I think we've got to score in this one. And the only way to do that is by just being a little bit braver. We've got to use Ndai and move him a bit higher up the pitch. He has to be more involved. He was great against Chelsea, but the poor fella is coming from inside his own half, deep inside his own half. And for him to create a chance, he's got to come from all the way over there, beat however many men, just to get into a good position to score. So we need to be really including him in the attack a lot more and just be a bit brave in this one. I'd love to see us just take a risk, wouldn't you? Like, it'd be great to just see us maybe go, yeah, this time we're going to actually try and score in this game. Because although these results have been great recently, we've not been scoring goals, which is the biggest issue, and we talk about it way too much. But Everton don't score goals at the moment, and if we want to win a game, you have to score. You can't. It's very obvious to say, but you can't bank on a season of draws. And I know that Deitch was honest in his last post-match. He was actually saying, we do need to be more expansive. That is something that we've got to do at some point. So I've got a tiny bit of hope from that, but I don't think he's really going to change, is he? And is he going to change on Boxing Day when everyone's a bit lethargic, no one's massively up for it? I think he'll probably see it as another chance to get a draw. And when we're all getting up early to watch Everton after our sore heads from the day before, I think it'll just be a bit more of the same, I think, won't it? I don't really know what to think about Boxing Day. I love the games being on at 3 o'clock. I don't love a game at 12:30. I just don't think that's right. Boxing Day should be every game, 3 p.m. That's the way it should be. I feel sorry for the Blues who are going to be getting up at the crack of dawn to go and watch this. It's like, it's not fair, is it? It's really not fair. But Boxing Day footy is good, do not get me wrong. It might not be good to watch this one because it's Everton, isn't it, at the moment? But, hopefully we can get something out of it. We've had 5 clean sheets in the last 6 games, so maybe, just maybe, it could be another one. If we come out of Chelsea, Arsenal and Manchester City with 3 clean sheets in a row, that would be quite something. Even if we don't manage to score a goal, I'd probably take that, to be fair. We'd all really take a point, wouldn't we? All the City fans are saying, Everton are going to beat us, Everton are going to beat us. Our inner Evertonian is telling us that maybe, just maybe, that is not going to be the case. In terms of a prediction, I'm going to go for it. It's Christmas, and it's time for Everton to bring us some Christmas cheer. It's going to be a 1-0. We're going to nick it. We're going to get that clean sheet again. Make Pickford the top goalkeeper in the Premier League for clean sheets with 8. And we're going to nick it as well. What a way to go into the post-Christmas, start of the New Year games that would be. To get through this December which we're not quite through it yet. We have got Forest, but to get through those first 3 horrible games without losing, it'd just be absolutely huge. And to get a win would, I think, change everyone's perspective and make everyone think Everton aren't involved in it this year. We won't be involved in it. If we can get through those games, I'd have no real worries about us going down. I already don't think we will, because we're just too solid defensively. But if we can just get a goal and win a game as well, then we'll all have the hope then, won't we, that come January as well, you could see new players come in, maybe 1 or 2, God knows what the situation is with PSR, but that positive feeling around the club from the Freaking Group coming in, the stadium being handed over to us, and a great December. How good would that be, Blues? That is exactly what we want, isn't it? But that is all for your preview today for the game against Manchester City. I hope you're had or have a great Christmas and a great New Year as well. And hopefully Everton can make it just that little bit better for us all. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments and speak to you next time. See you in a bit.